Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nebraska Medicine's first virtual open house. Thank you for joining us on this little dreary Saturday morning, but thank you for being innovative with us. It's kind of fun to do. I love to see the breakouts when everybody comes back. It's really kind of cool. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about Nebraska Medicine, about Nebraska Medicine nursing, and a little bit about my story. Next slide, please, Erin. So not sure if you're aware, but 2020 was named the year of the nurse and the midwife. And we celebrated this in nursing forums in January at Nebraska Medicine, just as COVID was starting. And who would have thought, any of us, who would have thought that the year of 2020 would have so much for nursing? It's been a very unique year. It's been an unprecedented year, but how wonderful the opportunities that all of us as nurses have had during this year. Next slide, Erin, please. Here are some of our COVID unit staff members. Just wanted to share some pictures so you can see some of our colleagues. And so let me tell you a little bit about Nebraska Medicine. So in the Metro Omaha area, we have three main campuses. We have the main campus that most people will think about at 42nd Street between, well, now it's between Dodge and Leavenworth, really. It's on the same campus as UNMC. But we also have Village Point out at about 168th to 180th and just by Village Point Shopping Center. And then we also have our Bellevue campus. We have two hospitals. One is called Nebraska Medical Center, which is the main campus one at 42nd Street. But then we also have a hospital inpatient tower at Bellevue Medical Center, which is on 370, just off of Highway 75. We have more than 800 licensed beds across the two inpatient hospitals. But we have care that extends across the region. We actually have about 40 specialty and primary care health centers, and we actually have clinics in Lincoln at the health center on UNL's campus, and also out in Grand Island. So you can see that our footprint is starting to spread across the state and not just in Omaha proper. We have more than 1,000 physicians. We have more than 8,000 employees, and our promise is serious medicine, extraordinary care. Next slide, please, Erin. This is one view of our main campus. You can see that it kind of continues to expand. Next slide, please. This is a picture of our Bellevue Medical Center campus, again, right on 370. Next, please. And this is our Village Point, just a shot of our Village Point. So you can see that we do spread across the city. Next slide. So let me tell you a little bit about Nebraska Medicine nursing. We have over 2,500 nurses across the organization. And between our two hospitals, we have 25 inpatient units, critical care, progressive care, med-surg, pediatrics, PICU and NICU, and also women's services. You can tell from your breakouts that we have oncology, heart and vascular, solid organ transplant, trauma, neurosciences, orthopedics, just to name a few. We also currently have 3 units that are dedicated as COVID units so that we can have a place for patients to go, especially if we have an upsurge with COVID moving forward, especially when flu season starts. We do have 4 surgical or procedural locations. We have 3 infusion centers, and we have 2 emergency departments, and very soon we will be having a psych emergency services emergency room type unit that will open very, very soon. I'm not going to say the date just in case, but it's very, very soon. But the other thing I want you to know about is that we are a magnet organization, which I think is very important. Next slide. Here's a group of our ambulatory folks. This is from our dermatology clinic. This was early on in COVID. And you can see our shirts, UNMC and Nebraska Medicine strong, which has been our motto throughout all of COVID. Next slide, please. So I'm not sure how much you have learned about magnets in school, but I want to share with you what's the benefit of a magnet program in a hospital that's magnet designated. Basically, hospitals that have the magnet designation recruit and retain top talent, hopefully recruiting all of you that are on the call today. But magnet hospitals also improve clinical outcomes for patients. There also is an improvement in satisfaction, both nursing and patient. Magnet hospitals foster a collaborative culture, so we have interdisciplinary teams that work together to care for our patients and to make improvements. We also, magnet designated hospitals, advance nursing standards and practice. We're innovative and we listen to the nurses, and if they think of something that we think could be done better, we We work with the nurses to make improvements. Magnet hospitals also help to grow the business and financial success of the hospitals. Next one, please. Here's some more of our team members. I'm going to try and read it. I had notes, but I forgot to write them down. Okay, it says, I am a nurse. I'm not going to be able to read it. Basically, this was our 9 trauma team that did this during COVID. When COVID first hit, we were very innovative, we were very energized and had a lot of adrenaline rushing through us. And then as we realized that COVID was going to carry on and on and on, it's kind of made us a little bit, it's pulled us down a little bit. So the 9 trauma team put this together just as a pick-me-up. And I'm sorry that I can't read all the signs, but it's just a very nice, it basically talks about, I care for you, I care for your family, we're here for you, and we are Nebraska Medicine Strong. So, okay, next slide. So here's my story. I'm 58 years old. I was born in New Jersey, but I've lived in Omaha for almost 25 years. I've been married to my husband, Joe, for 32 years. We just celebrated our anniversary on Thursday, but I've actually known him since 6th grade, so known him a long time. We have one son, Josh. He is 26, and he currently lives in New Jersey. And most of our extended family is in the New Jersey, New York area. Next slide. This is us. We are diehard Notre Dame fans. We are very sad that football season is kind of strange this year and that the Notre Dame football team has had COVID for 2 weeks now. So we're not even able to watch on TV. Normally we go once a year, and actually we were supposed to go to Ireland to see the Notre Dame Navy game in Ireland this year, but we couldn't go. So anyway, that's us. But here's my professional story. I've been a nurse since 1982, so quite a long time. I started out with an associate degree that I actually got from UNMC in 1982, but then my father, who worked for an oil company, had been transferred a couple times. So I moved to Syracuse and got a bachelor's in Syracuse in 1984. I then worked on a general pediatric unit for a couple of years in Albany, New York. And then I really thought that I wanted to teach in a college of nursing. So I went back to New Jersey and got my master's at Seton Hall, but instead of teaching, I became a nurse practitioner, and I worked as a nurse practitioner in a pediatric oncology clinic for for about 8 years before we moved to Omaha. And then again, I thought I wanted to teach in a college of nursing again, so I got my PhD in 2007, but every time I go back to school, I find myself still wanting to stay in the clinical arena. So hence why I have not gone to a college of nursing just quite yet. When I had the opportunity to become the chief nursing officer at Nebraska Medicine, I realized that my first degrees were great in nursing and gave me a great solid foundation for nursing education, but healthcare is a business. And so I decided that I needed to get my MBA so I could have a better understanding of the business aspect of healthcare. So I got an MBA in 2017. Most of my experience has been in pediatric oncology, and I've been in leadership for 13 years, and I've been the chief nursing officer for 6 years. One fun fact is that I did not pass state boards the first time. And if you were to ask the faculty in the associate degree program at UNMC in the early 80s, if I would have ever aspired to be a chief nursing officer, they would have laughed at you because I was a really bad student. But I tell you this because look where I am now. So just one bump in the road doesn't really matter, right? You will hear in the next hour or so from 2 of our managers. One is going to share her journey at Nebraska Medicine. That's Shanda Ross, and she, I believe, follows me. And then later on, you'll hear from Kaylee Guinan, who is a manager over our nursing professional development specialists, basically our nurse educators. And you're going to hear about our nurse residency program. And I would suggest that you really do pay attention to what they have to say about the nurse residency program. Recently, I talked to one of our newer nurses who came from another system. And so she's an experienced nurse, but she's newer to Nebraska Medicine. And she shared that she wishes she would have had a nurse residency program in the location where she started right out of school, because she said it's amazing how much support a nurse residency program has for new nurses. So that's the end of my story. I wanted to thank you again for joining. Oh, sorry, here's another picture. Oh, there's Shanda Ross. She's the one on the far left. So you're going to hear from her in a minute. That's her clinic team, just being Nebraska Medicine Strong. And again, I want to thank you. I hope that you're getting some good information. Would love for you to choose Nebraska Medicine. It's a great place. There's a lot of things to do. We care for newborns, even preemies, up to elderly people and deaf and everything in between. And so it's a great place to work. With that said, I am going to announce the winner of the gift card is Bridget Geary. So Bridget, I don't know where you are, but thank you for joining us today and congratulations to you. And I'm going to stay on to hear Shanda's talk, and then I do have to jump off. So thank you all again. Thanks to the recruitment team. They put a lot of time and effort into this, especially figuring out the breakout rooms. So thank you all and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sue, and congrats, Bridget. We will email you probably Monday and get that gift card over to you. So you are the proud new owner of a $50 Amazon gift card. Yay. So up next, we are going to hear from our clinic, or one of our clinic nurse managers, and that is Shanda Ross. So she doesn't have slides, but I will just leave this screen up, and she is just going to kind of present at free will. So have at it.
All right. Good morning, everybody. This is what I do best. I do best at juggling and, you know, not having things in front of me. So if you haven't heard, in the news this week, we had things happen at Nebraska Medicine as far as our electronic system. So I couldn't get to my drive to create the fancy slides like Sue. I'm sure Sue was already prepared weeks ago. So
I just did it the other day.
I didn't have an opportunity to have slides for you. So hopefully I will entertain you with my conversation as well. So I am Shanda Ross. I am a clinic manager at Nebraska Medicine. I am coming upon my 22-year anniversary at Nebraska Medicine. So for me, I am an Omaha native, born and raised here, although you may hear a little bit of a Southern twang. That is my family background. So I visited the South every year for the summer, so it just kind of stuck. And down there I talk proper, up here I talk country. So here I am. Married to my high school sweetheart. We have been married now for 25 years, have been together for 34. Wow. We have 3 children, 2 grandchildren, 2 little girls, and then 1 grand dog. My youngest is attending Iowa State. She does not like children, so she decided that she would get a dog right now in her life, at this stage in her life. I have obtained my bachelor's degree at Methodist, and I obtained my master's degree at Clarkson that I did have the opportunity to obtain, I will say, with minimal financial cost to me, because I was very blessed at Nebraska Medicine. We do have a tuition reimbursement program. So that allowed me to be able to get my master's degree without having a lot of financial obligation on my plate. So I will say that I always wanted to, while we are called Nebraska Medicine, when I first got into nursing, it was Clarkson. And I always wanted to work at Clarkson since I was a little girl. I knew I wanted to be a nurse at 5 years old. My mother has always had health issues, and I was just considered indeed her healthcare person. I knew how to take her blood sugar. I knew how to give her insulin. I knew how to call the rescue squad when I needed to. So a lot of responsibilities for little shoulders, but I took it on and I loved doing it. So I told her that I was going to be a nurse so that I could take care of her for the rest of her life. So when I was at Methodist, of course, they were recruiting their own students, but there became an opportunity where we could come to Clarkson College to get what they called an internship the summer before graduation. I took advantage of that internship, was able to work on our 6th floor, which was at that time called subacute rehab, where patients who weren't quite ready to go home and still needed some nursing care, they came to that unit. So it was a mixture of rehab and med-surg. I was there for the first part of my career, and then from there, opportunity. And by the way, I got hired before I graduated. So talk about pressure. I really needed to make sure I passed them boards. So thank God I did. I had a job ready and waiting. I was on that unit for a while. We went through some changes. I went through one of the first mergers for Nebraska Medicine and UNMC coming together. And then we did another change in our unit that changed it over to a newer unit. Wasn't quite my cup of tea. I was at that time what we would call a cares nurse, and the cares nurses would work the weekends, you know, from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And so we would float to all the different areas. At that time, I was ready to get my master's degree. I think I was probably 5 years in. Part of that requirement, though, for nurse anesthesiology, which is what I thought I wanted to do. Did not think that it was going to be leadership like what Sue was saying. I said, manager, no. Bedside nursing is all I ever thought about, right? So I transferred to the unit, and I had a few things occur personally in my life. My mom got really ill. She had been a transplant patient. I didn't mention that. My brother was able to donate a kidney to her. She had a fall and ended up in our unit, so I had to take some time off. In the midst of that, she got really ill. I'm so thankful to my manager at that time, Chad, who was on that time and took time off and worked with me with my schedule. Then my mom ended up dying in the midst of that. I ended up hurting my back. I had to take time off of work. So then I was told from Chad and HR, due to the restrictions, that I could not come back and be a bedside nurse. To this day, that chokes me up because it was something I was really passionate about and I enjoyed. Had not thought about doing anything else. And my physician and HR said to me, there's a lot of opportunities in nursing that are outside of bedside. You just hadn't thought about them. So I started off in one area, changed my thought and thinking. Master's and degree was then going to change the leadership because I had been encouraged that I had what it takes to be a great leader and they would really like to grow me. So from there, I went into a lead position in our transplant clinic. And then from there, my management career, once I got done with my master's degree, just continued to climb. I was a manager, and then I'm trying to keep track of time, y'all, because I didn't write my slides, so I want to be respectful of that time. As a manager, I then had the opportunity to grow, learn new things. An opportunity came open for me to help out another area, which is our bariatrics clinic. So I had our multi-organ transplant clinic. I was the interim for our bariatrics clinic. Things were working really well. They decided to have me take on both of those under my wing. From there, our director for our program, which that clinic was up under transplant as well, opened up. Our director decided she was going to retire. So I took the courage, I applied for it. From there, I received the opportunity to become the director. And being the director, I also still had my position for being the manager open. So I was kind of multitasking. Things took place as they did with financial in the world, and Nebraska Medicine needed to make a decision to pivot. I am proud to say that we pivot really well. When we need to make adjustments to things, we do. And so as a nurse at Nebraska Medicine, the expectation is that we pivot as well. So I had a conversation with Sue, who had been mentoring me as I was new to being a director, and my VP, to say that things needed to change. We made some shift and changes in leadership. So there needed to be a shift and change in my position. So moved on from being a director and was told that this is not anything that you did wrong. This is just what we need to do. And we actually need your experience over in this clinic, which is a pretty big ship to run. And we just have not had the opportunity to do it. So we would like you to take this opportunity to continue to grow, to continue to learn, and run this other area because you're really good at building teams, you're really good at building relationships and helping get things in order of where they need to be. So that is the seat I sit in now as the Internal Medicine Specialties Clinic. So I will say at Nebraska Medicine, you can go and grow in whatever direction you want. You know, as Sue said with her boards, her bump in the road was not passing the first times. My bump in the road was, I'm a director, and now you're coming to me and tell me that I got to move back over to a manager. Moment. But it's a fun fact now because I actually have learned a lot more things. I've had the opportunity to continue to grow and learn, and I'm not done. I'm still looking. We have awesome opportunities at Nebraska Medicine. You're always encouraged to go and grow. You can have mentors from other nurses. You can have mentors from people in other departments. It's just really up to you. So you can come in and it can just be a job, or you can come in and it can truly be a career path in somewhere that you can grow as a person. I'm very passionate about diversity, equality, and inclusion. So Sue and everyone has allowed me to really grow in that department also. Y'all see I'm passionate, I talk with my hands. So just want to welcome you all. I hope you consider coming back to Nebraska Medicine. If you have any questions for me, feel free to jump in and ask or reach out to a recruiter and let them know.
Thanks, Shanda. That was great. So I will give you the name of your gift card winner at the end or during the breakout session too, and you can announce them right after that. So that will be super exciting. I want to point out the fact that she really highlighted growth within the company and all the different opportunities. So even if you start here as a patient care tech while you're working on getting that nursing degree, there's just so much room for growth, and you really can make it a career. I guess I did a poor job of introducing myself this morning. So I am a sourcer on the talent acquisition team. And a really neat thing about my job is that I get to learn about all of the different positions in Nebraska medicine. So you're always encouraged to reach out to me and say, you know, I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for something new. What are the opportunities out there? And I would definitely be more than happy to have that conversation with you and to really work on your professional career growth as well. So you can have a cool story like Shanda and Sue and all the rest of the awesome Nebraska medicine staff. So we are a little bit ahead of schedule, but Tara, if you are ready, we could go ahead and jump into our breakout session number 2.